With a title like the SML video that changed everything, I'm sure several videos might have come to mind. What videos have truly changed everything, or otherwise had a major impact? Well, there's no shortage of candidates. There's the beginning of Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures, there's the end of Season 2, there's the introduction of Junior, there's the move to the new apartment, the introduction of Jeffy, or any of the videos which had a major impact on Logan's channel, like Jeffy's Tantrum or Jeffy's Bad Word. There's the move to the new house, obviously, maybe the secret door, or what about the introduction or switch to the puppets? Well, those are all very good ideas, but as strange as this may sound, it's none of those videos. As a matter of fact, this video is rather remarkable and actually rather disliked back in its day. Why is that? Well, mainly for its incredibly short runtime. This video was just over 2 minutes in runtime and was actually panned because of it. So who cares, right? Why am I even discussing some random really short video? Because despite everything, this video actually caused a huge shift that no one seems to really talk about anymore. I'd go so far as to argue that this video can still be easily traced back to for still holding some of the DNA of modern SML, even now. This video is none other than Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures Season 2 Episode 5, and we're going to talk about it. Since this episode is so short, I can just give a recap of it for those who haven't watched it. This follows Peach having Junior, making this technically the first Junior video ever, but we'll get to why I've never really counted this in a second. Shrek, who was helping with this for some reason, gets attacked by Junior, as does Mario. Junior runs off with Peach, and Mario and Luigi chase after him. Black Yoshi and Mr. Pig are making Kool-Aid, but when Junior shows up, Black Yoshi decides to shoot him. Since Junior didn't show up for a long time after this, and Junior is assumed to be dead in this video, my theory is that something else happened outside the Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures timeline, since if you watched my timeline video, you know that my theory is that the timeline splits just after Black Yoshi shows up. Mario and Peach start arguing before Bowser jumps in and crushes Mario, ending on a to be continued. So, okay, a short and not remarkable video. But let's talk about why this video was so disliked, and why I believe this video of all things changed everything. Let's start off with why people didn't like this video. In short, it was because, well, just that actually, it was too short. For context, the previous Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures episode had happened literal months prior, and so for only a 2-minute video, fans were rather upset about this. Logan even made a video on Super Luigi Logan about people complaining that episode 5 was so short. Episode 5 was originally going to be what ended up being episodes 5 and 6, but Logan decided to make episode 5 short because he wasn't a fan of the whole video as it was when he was editing it. Okay, enough about that though. Let's go to why I believe this video changed so much. Honestly, I feel like this video was a night and day difference for Logan's channel. This is when SML fully got out of this sort of weird phase where it still felt a bit like the old era. What do I mean by that? Well, a lot of videos, as good as they were for this time period, still felt a bit less coherent. In fact, I'll call this the sort of early classic era effect. The videos were still good, but the editing was a bit rough, effects were sparse or even non-existent, and the whole thing still felt like Logan running around with plushes and just sort of doing whatever. That's always been part of the reason why Season 2 of Mario and Luigi's Stupid and Dumb Adventures was my favorite, especially the later portions of it, while Season 1 is in second place. Season 1 always felt like a random series of things were happening, and sometimes that could drag on a bit, with this also carrying on into the early parts of Season 2. This episode was really the start of much better pacing for this series, and SML as a whole for a while there. While I can appreciate the early YouTube feeling of the early classic era, I still think that's mostly there for a while in the later classic era videos, but just with less of the downsides. Speaking of which, there's the effects, which reek of late 2000s and early 2010s YouTube, and I love it. Now, Logan doesn't use too many effects in his modern videos, and he didn't put many into ones before this. But seriously, I think this era is where the effects peaked. While this technically wasn't the first time there were some pretty decent effects in the series, this was the first really good instance of them. To be fair, it helps these were also done by someone else whose whole thing was effects, that being Mixed Studios. Seriously, why can't SML have effects like there used to be anymore? Next up, let's discuss the bump in resolution. Nearly all of the videos up until this point were done in 360p, with this video instead being in 720p, which is a huge bump in resolution, especially for the time, and it's really such a difference. Not to mention the last bump in video quality we would get for several years. And then we have some of the acting. Now this goes a bit into episode 6 as well, since Lavelle's Bowser didn't really get introduced until that episode, but you'll notice that even just Logan and Lance's acting is better in this one, though the faster pacing probably helps. You get less of the uncertainty and pauses because someone forgot a line compared to the earlier videos. To me, this video is not only the point between the early classic and later classic SML era, but it's also the beginning of Logan's evolution into his peaks, as well as into how his modern videos would work. Sure, watching classic-era SML videos in general, compared to the modern ones, will still be quite the difference, but that's also happened over the course of more than a decade at this point. If you go back though, you can see that there's a very gradual progression into what became modern SML, with a few random jumps in there where some other things changed. With this video on the other hand, comparing it to the videos that came before can actually give the viewer a bit of whiplash. It happens to me whenever I'm watching through Season 2, for example. We go from low-resolution video with a few actors just sort of doing their lines the best they can, little to no effects, and maybe a somewhat coherent plot, to suddenly amazing effects, a bunch of things taking place all at once, much better editing, and a well put together plot, and oh yeah, the music, which I haven't even mentioned yet. The music is a complete 180 from the Super Mario World music we hear in the previous episode and most videos before this one. Despite this episode being just over 2 minutes in runtime, I still think that this is the video that really changed SML the most, and it's always very interesting to me to look back on just how much it changed. What do you guys think though? Is there a video you believe to have changed more, particularly all in one go like this? Well, that's all for now. Thank you all for watching, and take care.